knock people off the football. So for me, quarterbacks are going to play a lot better if they're not having to run for their lives. So,
do you remember that season? All that you had, all you encountered, get 11 out of that. Is that more gratifying than to get 11 out of the road?
oh yeah, I think I'll remember last year more than the first year. What made the first year special was changing offenses, and I mean you had to do things that you've been doing for 30-some years, and I had to do it a different way. But you know, in that first season 2 years ago, I kind of became a fan myself because every week was a new week. Because you know, I wasn't used to winning like that, not grinding it out, and doing all of it how we did it. So I actually kind of enjoyed it. I hope it happens a lot more in the next 10. Well, it's just that offense we do. Obviously, when you put a Patrick Mahomes, played a lot of good quarterbacks in that offense through the years. So, number one, I think Coach Kingsbury does a great job of adding plays that highlight the players that he has in his wide receiver corps. He knows that Patrick can get himself out of problems, and he plays with a great amount of confidence. Anytime you put all that together, you're always going to have problems as a defensive coordinator. Well, I don't. You know, it's hard because he was kind of like Oregon game. He was a tale of two halves.
Right. That's right.
You know, he started great, and then, but you know, again, I tell people, you know, one of the greatest things that might have happened to Kenny is everything that's happened to him. Because sometimes, you know, especially freshmen, they get caught up in all this, and then they become invisible, and you can't ever get them. They can't ever get them back. Kenny's place, he's basically getting a second chance. A lot of people don't get a second chance. He had to learn the hard way on some things, and I think you come back down to earth, and then you get a chance in a whole new environment, get a chance to go prove. And I think there's a lot of Kenny Hill. There's one thing I think that's on his side. He's out. I think he's never said this to me, but I think he is out to prove that he can do this. And I think when you have somebody that has that kind of determination, you always have somebody that you should be very wary of, because he's playing for the right. Then he's doing it for the right reasons. He's not doing it NFL. He's not doing it for the Heisman. He's not doing it. He's just out to prove every week. He's just trying to do it 7 days a week and try to prove that he can do something that he thought he could do in the first place.
That's really it, isn't it? I mean, he set the passing record at A&M, but there's a reason he's not there anymore. He's with you guys. Which guy is he?
Well, the guy that's been close. I mean, all he's been. I don't know how he was off the field comparison, because I compare everything. But to me, where he's at right here, he's done everything we've asked him to do, in fact, and then more. And so it's.
Gary, do you perceive it? 5 or 6 years ago, I think if you guys had lost a players like Trayvon and Josh, the next year people would say, TCU, they're going to fall to the bottom of the pile. But that's not the case anymore.
Yeah, but I want to know who had the party and everybody who was drinking pick a second. I mean, with losing all those guys.
You told me that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I told him to pick us last.
Yeah, but see, that's my point, is that several years ago that would have been the case, but that's not the case now. How do you read that?
I guess we've gained, and like you do every year, you just got to keep gaining respect as a program. Mm-hmm. There's other programs in the country that every year, no matter what they lose, they still get picked in the top 25. Right. So as a program, you feel good about that people respect what we've done as a program, that we'll have somebody, the next group will step up, and what we do in the off season will help grow them up to become what they need to become.
Gary, as a coach, a few times you've been picked fifth or seventh. You've never used that as motivation for your players, have you?
No, I've never done that. In fact, we won 2 years ago. We were picked sixth.
That's what I mean. Yeah. But never mentioned that.
But the way the bowl game unfolded, that had to have been like the best thing.
Well, yeah, when it's all said and done, because I think it did give your kids a confidence that you can come back and do anything. But I'll be honest with you, I haven't really talked about that yet. I may talk about it in 2 days, but
that game.
yeah,
or
well, just
the
confidence level. Yeah, I mean, I talked about we came back, and it's you should feel good about we can do anything here, but I haven't. It hasn't been because the problem with it is then I'd have to also talk about we were behind 31-0. I'm trying to forget it.
What happened to the turtleneck? Is that still in the wardrobe? Or?
Yeah, you know me. You just you never know where Coach P will he'll show up in. Now I'm down in weight. I might come in. I might come out with a tie. I mean,
that thing should be framed. You know that, don't you?
Oh yeah, probably so. We'll give it to
How
Caden.
much did you lose?
I lost right that first month 30.
Yeah.
Good amount.
So what's your net?
Huh?
What's your net?
I'm probably at 20 right now, 15, 20.
How's it feel?
Huh?
How does it feel?
Oh yeah, I'm running stadiums. I'm back to. Oh yeah, 3 days. Ask Caden. I'm back. I'm back going up. Can't go quite as fast because I don't want to pound it, but it's. Oh yeah.
You talked about Kenny being invisible a little bit, or once he goes invisible, you can't get him back. What did you mean by that?
Well, no, I mean all young players. Sometimes when they have success, I tell people all the time, people handle failure a lot better than they handle success. Not just football players. I'm talking about anybody in life. Everybody's used to dealing with failure. They don't deal with money, titles, all that. That doesn't make you a different person. And people don't. So they become invisible. They think they can do anything they want to. Because who they are, they don't, and that's what happens to young, immature kids. They don't understand it, and you hope that you can get them out of that thought process before they do something that you can't help them with. So we've had some through the years that have become invisible.
Jerry, as a defensive coach, I was just curious, have you ever been in a situation where you had 7 starters coming back from 1 year and 4 more starters coming back from the previous year because of the whole injury situation?
No.
You're trying to kind of blend 2 different groups of starters.
It's something I did. Chemistry is everything. Yeah, playing and doing it. I'm really interested. The one thing I know that always works well is competition makes football teams a lot better. Guys have competition. They work harder in practice because they know if they don't, then somebody's going to take their job. So when we have more coming back, that gives us a chance to be better.
Jim Grove said a week ago that he hopes people learn from what happened there. Is there anything that you guys take away in a big picture from a coaching standpoint about or running a program about what kind of went on?
Well, no, I mean, the biggest thing is we all know people's lives are more important than winning. Period. I mean, it's we have to win ball games to keep our jobs. But I mean, as I tell people, I don't see color. I don't see color. Good is good, bad is bad. And so for me, whether it's the situation with Baylor, the situation in Dallas, or wherever, coaches have a lot different philosophy because our whole job, no matter where the young people come from, it's our job to meld them into one and make them into a team. And then when they leave, hopefully you train them well enough that they can go be successful in life and appreciate everything that's been given to them. And so, I think we all learn from and our own and other people's mistakes.
What do you make of this due diligence policy that Bowlesby, I don't want to say unveiled, but I hadn't heard much about it.
I don't know. I don't even know what it is.
Look,
Yeah, but we already do that.
Exactly. That's the thing. Everyone should be doing that on a campus level.
Yeah, I mean, it's we already do that. So it's.
I mean, have you turned down, been on the verge of bringing a real good player and then done a background check and walked away?
Yep.
Can you say what you want to say generic school X does? I mean, what does a background check consist of?
I don't know, but I mean, it's extensive enough to understand if you have a file.
And we know the difference between that. Yes.
Yes.
Would you like to see a policy like that implemented NCAA wide? I know.
Well, I think he will.
But, how do you balance that? I mean, obviously there's sometimes too much, but do you feel like you're a coach that tries to give second chances to guys?
Yeah, but there's
How do you judge
my thing's always been, if it's above my pay grade, then it's going to be. They're going to be talking to chancellors. They're going to be talking to police officers. They're going to be talking to. You're not going to be talking to head football coaches. There's certain things that I get an opportunity to help with second chances, and there's certain things I don't. So I mean, in the very things I'm just the football coach. I think as I tell my fan base, I'm just the keeper of the keys. There's some things that I'm not in charge of. I don't have control over. So.
Gary, on the flip side of that, when you think back of recruiting this team, putting this team together,
Thanks, Gary.
is there a guy or two that's their personal story, their background had an impact on you personally?
Well, we got a kid. I don't know what Kylie's name. We got Kyrie. What's his last name?
Kylan Moore.
Kylan Moore is a guy that's. He came from Princeton. He's from Compton, I think, in L.A. And here's a guy that's taking bucket bass. He's a smart kid that did an internship at Princeton. Now he's back here. Well, I don't know if he'll even play on our team, but he's on an academic scholarship and just an unbelievable kid. Everybody can learn from Kylan Moore. It's just a phenomenal story about overcoming everything you can possibly become in life. And he wants to play football. He liked one time to be able to be seen on TV and do the thing, but the bottom line to it is he has everything in perspective. You wish every one of your kids was Kylan Moore as far as the way they approach life.
What's the effect you want that on the other 100-some guys in the locker room?
What's
the effect you want him to have on the other 100 guys?
Well, he already has. He helps them academically. He tells them they should approach academics just like they approach a game plan, football. He's just a great story. And what people never ever want to hear about the good stories. We got a lot of kids that have those kind of stories that have overcome a lot of different things to get to where they're at and what they do. It's sometimes as I got older, sometimes you wish you'd been a better coach in situations that you would have handled it differently maybe and helped them out more. It's not that you didn't want to, you just didn't know. And I try to do a lot better job now, my days and age, of asking better questions when it comes to all that kind of stuff.
Who are some other guys that you're mentioning that you think?
Oh no, he's probably the biggest one.
Mm-hmm. How long has he been on the team?
He's been a year, I think.
Yeah.
You've been asked a bunch about, Sonny coming back and how big that was. It seems to me you've always looked at reinvention as sort of an opportunity. That, if a guy leaves your staff, you have an opportunity to sort of reinvent yourself. Because you've been doing this so long, you can't last this long unless you reinvent yourself a little bit, right?
Yeah, even defensively, people say, well, you haven't changed defense. Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
We've changed defensively. We didn't have a lot of two deep hard corners in our defense of what we do, and we have it now. It's because we after the 2004 season, we were last in passing defense in the nation. We were bad, and I saw it changing, and I didn't do anything because we went 10-2 and 10-2, 2002 and 3, and you kind of go, well, I don't. We've been doing this forever. We'll be okay. Well, no, we're not okay. It wasn't okay. So, but I think whether it's football or anything else in life, I think it's some people don't ever change until they lose or it's not going well. If you're smart about it, you're always tweaking it. You're always trying to find different ways to change it while you're being successful so that you keep going like this. It's like us. We didn't know whether Trayvon would be able to play linebacker and be able to, that's not, we played nickel package, he played it, but we didn't know that we just slide the guy in and this is what we do. Some people, you got to be able to think outside the box.
Some people, it's really hard to do because they make a lot of money doing it one way and they've won one way. It's just, that's hard to get over for a lot of people.
I think maybe because I've been to so many places.
Yeah.
Sonoma State, we had 3 practices. The offense cooked lunch, we cooked dinner. When the one was cooking, the other one was doing laundry. I've done it, where it's, and you didn't have any video, so you went home, but you did a lot of coaching, and so that's one of the reasons why I think I see the field a lot farther than what a lot of people do, because I've been a lot of those places where you didn't have video and you saw play side, and then you had to look at the backside and see, did everybody end up in the place they were supposed to be, where people never ever look, okay, here, how did this all turn out? And So, it's a place like Sonoma State, our nose guard, guy was tending bar. This guy was, he was teaching second grade, and they all get done at 2:30 and they come over to practice. I mean, it wasn't like they were there all day. At those places you had to do more with less. So, but I think it's, but you also have to have a place that has, you can get everybody else to believe that too, And, that's why I think you see coaches leave, whether they get fired or not, in 3 or 4 years, because they lose a class and they don't believe they can either recruit a class or they can emulate what they got done. And I've been in enough of those places that, you've always had to roll your sleeves up and find a way to change it all. And even coaches that have come onto our staff, they've had to learn to trust that we'll find a way to get it done. I mean, we have some interesting staff meetings. You know what? One of the things I've done differently than anybody else is I've always taken a vote with my staff anytime anybody's ever offered a job.
Really?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's not going to be. I mean, it's some I couldn't take because one of the biggest mistakes head coaches make sometimes is they think it's all about them. Well, you had great players, you had great staff. So if you change region in the United States and they say, well, we only want you to bring 4 out of your 9. So let me get this straight. We just won 11 ball games and you want me to leave 5 of them at home and I can only bring 4. And so, the loyalty aspect, even though maybe they don't want to deal with me in 2 days or whatever because I'm driving everybody, they know when it's all said and done, the other 8 months of the year, not those 4 months, the other 8 months of the year, it's about everybody's life. And
so if you're interviewing an assistant for one of your openings, you haven't talked to every staff member? Or?
No, what I do is usually they'll come up with 2 or 3. I'll let them find the guys that fit. Really? And then what I do is I put them in the room with the offensive and defensive staff and see how they get along, see what they bring to the table. Like Rusty, when Coach Burns, he came over when he was out a year after SMU. He came over and helped us put in a 2 or 3 plays that we liked, and the guys really liked him. And so when we had a job opening, and he was their first choice because they really got along with him and did everything. And so, one of the things that's happened on defense is I've had so many players play in the NFL that have got out of the NFL or coaching that, I have a lot of the tree on defenses. Because, you got Zarnell Fitch and Jason Phillips on our staff right now, and Jeremy Modkins. Here's 3 guys, one in quality control, one a GA, one a full-time coach that all played in the system. I don't have to convince them of how we play defense because we're different than a lot of people on how we play defense. And then they also come with various backgrounds recruiting-wise and all the other things, how they do things. But so I have a lot of people in place where I don't have to go. This offense that we run, they're really not from my tree. So when they bring somebody else in, then I ask a few more questions. But I just take for granted if they bring them in, that they've already said, well, here's how Coach P is. They're going to respect me. They're going to do it the way we do it. And then, because when it's all said and done, they're going to be in that meeting with them. I'm not going to be in there. They got to be able to get along. They've got to be able to make it all work, have a plan, and execute it. And so, but if I try to force a guy on them, then what happens is they may not get along and they may not like each other. And then if you don't have chemistry in your staff room, you don't have chemistry with your players either.
You never overruled them a vote?
Oh yeah, but usually come down to I could come down to 2 or 3 guys that I could live with any of the 3, But what I'll do is, and I've always done this, I've always been able to pick coaches. You get into it that maybe one guy, he's really good, but he only probably will stay with us 1 year. And there's another guy that's just about as good, but he's still an unknown. But he might stay with us 5 or 6. Just like you would do in a business. You find guys because the more the continuity you can get, and we always look at geographical where they recruit at. One of the reasons when I moved things around to change the offense was getting Jared Anderson back in East Texas, because he grew up there, born there, knows the coaches there, know the people there, and all of a sudden now we've got kid. We're back in recruiting because as a coordinator he came off the road. Well, it hurt us not only we didn't play as well offensively, but we also weren't getting the kids that we needed to get. And so I look at I look at a lot of different options. How can you come up with the right scenario to make us better and move forward?
When you talk about